Hello, let's make a painting. Excuse me. Alright, water. Well, the glass is already dirty from the previous painting, so let's see what we're gonna do with this thing. Alright, I'm just gonna wet everything pretty much. Like a valley? Yeah, that's look like a valley. I will start with the gold green and just a little bit more water. It look like early in the morning when the golden hour, or late afternoon. Anyway, when the golden hour appear, that's what this look like. Maybe some red. All right, so it's gonna be a landscape, that's for sure. Maybe some. There's a lot of grass on the foreground. I guess it's open field. That's how it's look like for now. Some trees start to grow in on the background. I don't think I'm gonna keep that. I have more of a open field feeling here. I will take some green too. Mixed with blue, and we're gonna make the sky. Now this painting, I'm gonna blend everything and then I'm gonna start. But I just wanna make sure I prepare everything for the first layer. Now I'm gonna take the multiple brush and just blend everything from, there we go. Now don't push too much. I just want to blend, I don't want to make everything same. And now I'm gonna take the palette knife and start playing with it. Just make some texture, something more interesting to happen in the midground and the foreground. Maybe some grass. Yeah, it's something. It's open field, so pretty much everything is go. You know, when you're watching fields with any kind of medium to short plants, and the wind is moving, you see all kind of different spots, and it's like a water is changing all the time. And that's what pretty much we're doing with the palette knife. Now for the sky, I'm gonna take dark blue and just start making some very very heavy clouds. Of course, most of the clouds is gonna be on the horizon line, so we can separate the midground and the horizon. Separate the midground and the sky with the horizon line. Yeah, maybe a bunch of there. Now the one thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let the clouds blend themselves, and I'm just gonna put some bunch of spots here and there. Let's see. Maybe. Yeah, it looks like. I think it's like a sunset because it's got this golden idea that is going on this. All right, let's clear the brush and what we're gonna do. Now I think the sky is done pretty much, and doesn't look like much, but later it will blend itself, and we will work on a midground and a foreground. I'm gonna start playing with the palette knife. It's interesting because I found myself more and more often let the painting develop herself, and well, I always kind of did that, but especially with watercolor is so interesting. You just make something and wait. You see the clouds how they blend. It's just, I don't know. It's just amazing for me how you can make something meaningless and then it became something something important in the painting. And I feel like it's in the life is the same way. You make some stuff that you think is nonsense, and doesn't have any purpose, but then they pay off later. Or of course, they can go opposite way. You make something that you think is just okay, and then it turn out in a horrible situation. And just show up how everything. And by the way, when I'm talking about this, the painting, the analogy about painting and actions you take, I feel like is a great thing in the nature is the same thing, but of course in the physical aspect. That would be a seed. You can take a little seed and plant it, and this seed can grow up to a huge tree, and of course it can fall on your head or just provide wood for you or fruits or whatever. But in the same way, the little seed, if you don't use it for to grow up whatever you grow up, it's just pretty much useless because it cannot feed anyone. It cannot do much change. But if you take a little action on it, you can go for it. That's how I feel. Look at the sky. The sky is just gorgeous. Now I'm gonna take some of the blue and just mash it up in the front of the on the foreground. I want to emphasize a little bit more with the black gouache this time. Just to have a high contrast with on the foreground. And since it's the very cloudy, and the clouds are just great. It's coming from the deep on the horizon and it coming toward us. I don't think I can make that. You gotta let the water do it. I don't think I will think about that. Let's see. That's fine. And now is the time to remove some of the paint. I will take a clear brush. Well, clean brush. I always say clear. I don't know why. But I guess I stick with that. I know it's a clean brush. I always call it clear brush. So, and just remove some of the paint with a clear brush here and there, just to have more interesting things going on. I guess there's a light coming through the clouds and reflecting on the ground. No, I like that, and I think I'm gonna put a little bit more detail on the foreground. And saying so, I think I'm gonna put some paddles of water. Maybe it was a rain before the sunset, and we still have some water left over on the foreground, and that's why we have this pretty much heavy clouds, but they kind of dissolve after the storm. So that's what we're gonna call it. This is after storm. Sunset. And I think I'm gonna emphasize only on the foreground and maybe something like the grass. So we can mention that is a field of medium to short grass. I'll take the palette now. Just play around with it a little bit. I'm gonna form some kind of throwing shadows on the foreground. And there you go, a watercolor abstract landscape.